Yeah, one of the outcomes of this is probably that you can, it would result in self-fulfilling prophecies, in the sense that if you have access to this kind of data, and you begin to realize, as you had mentioned, that the person who appears to be the big boss is not really the guy whom you should be focusing on, but you should be focusing on this guy who has got the most connections. So you could potentially just go and stand there facing him for a little while and become part of his clique according to this, so that later on if someone tries to look at these graphs, determines that you are actually also an important person as part of this.
Yeah, but
it's easy to game the system.
I think in the past we saw it in a different way happen. You have such systems, there is huge data mining going on, but exactly as you point out, the trick is not to change your environment by showing, okay, I measured you, here is how it looks like, but to make it hidden. So people, only a few selected people know about the results, and these selected people are able to do whatever they do with the data, yeah, but it's not public.
Yeah, but one of the issues is that I may not know who is doing the analysis, yeah, but I know that the analysis is being done. Mm-hmm. And I know that I am being observed, and I know that my actions are being reflected in some form or the other in a graph like this. And if I am able to determine in some fashion that this is how it's being done, I can game the system by simply determining who's the most popular guy in the room. And it's not the big man standing in the corner over there who you think everyone would go to, but it seems to be that small clerk over there who's handing out the food coupons. Yeah. And you suddenly become, you raise your level of importance in some fashion or the other.
Yeah, so this is also one of our main drives, that we try to make the system now for you as open as possible. So we see exactly like Atul, which pointed this out, is what can I do? Obviously, I can introduce a lot of noise in the system. Like Chiro pointed out, I can veer the tag however it looks like. On my back, I can share my mobile phones with my friends, whatever. So obviously, you can poison this kind of data. And we also took, as a project, we obviously have a huge responsibility. We created, for proving that this can be done, one of the biggest technical tools to make it happen. So what did we do to make sure that it won't fall in the wrong hands, and if it will fall in the wrong hands, it will poison them? We made this hardware open hardware, so even we can't make money of this. If someone wants to take this hardware and we are simply too expensive, then he can build it on his own. So the profit margin is very low. So by introducing such tools into the open market and by providing this whole tool set a very low profit margin, a lot of companies say, does not make sense to compete in this market. There are already solutions around this. I may have fancy patents, but I don't expect too much profit margin with it. So I think there are possibilities to at least slow down this process a lot. And I think this is an interesting contribution to show the dynamics behind it, so people can use it in a better way. So in our experience, people don't complain as long as you give them the free choice to decide, when do I want to be tracked? So obviously you are interested in, when I walk around the conference, who did I meet? What are their connections? Oh, he knows this guy, I can talk to him. Let him introduce me to another guy I'm interested in. This is a very interesting tool set, and I think because you find it interesting, you are willing to release this data. But as soon as you have privacy concerns, you have to have a possibility to shut this off. And this awareness, to train this awareness, when do I want to leave traces, and when is the border, okay, here, stop, here I'm not willing to leave any more traces, and which traces are, for example, can be harmful. And this is what we want to achieve with this project, so to get this kind of data more attendance. Yep. Next question.
Well, it's not directly a question, but What I found out, like you said, is good to have the possibility of turning that things off. You can easily find out if someone's going out of this center across the street and whoops, he's gone. Or you can maybe find out if his business gone too long, or just having a short break or something like that. It's very impressive. One example from me, I walked into the toilet and some guys told me, "You're blinking. What's that?" And I told him, "Okay, that's the possibility to turn something off. I won't be tracked in here, because I don't want to know that anyone else knows that I'm on the toilet now."
Yeah, and because you see the immediate results here, so you started to get, I hopefully think, you get more aware that what actually happens. So, for example, huge companies, I don't want to tell you the names, are trying to do it in the hidden. So people won't get upset. Why should they? It's important data. You walk around in your store, you get the right advertisements, you don't get annoyed by the wrong catalogs sent to you. So it's very unobtrusive. It's customers never see what's behind this facade, and I think we achieve that you start to get aware what happens with this kind of data. Okay?
I have another question. Do you know how correct your data is? Are there false positives? And do you maybe have compared it to video surveillance of such a conference?
I don't think that you really can compare it to. I think you will get a complete different set of data, because obviously you are interested in some persons. For example, if someone is talking you're interested in, but you don't maybe want to talk to him personally, but you take part in the same group. But if you make a survey, you won't tell, "Oh, I'm part of this group of this cryptographer," or whatsoever. You just are in his clique without basically telling it in a survey. But I think Chiro can say something to this.
I guess, can you hear me? Yeah, okay. Validating the data is one of the big issues indeed, because that's why we started, for example, in our experiments with very small groups, because we wanted to be able to relate what the system told us about the structure, the topology of the interaction with what we were able to see with our eyes. So we really spend a lot of time, entire days, having people standing in rooms in group of 3 or 4, and we were telling them, "Okay, now you move to that group, and now you come back." And besides having these guys very upset at us, we really were able to validate that with the settings and the parameters we had for our experiments back in Italy, we were able to detect very reliably face-to-face interactions. Of course, you do have false positives and you do have false negatives. That's part of the game. But the important thing is that you know that the noise level is low and that you know that the error is controllable. You know the statistics of the error. The other thing is that even in cases when and this is the worrisome thing, it's very easy to detect when people are trying to mess with you, because basically if you put the tag on your back, suddenly the statistics of your contact times, they're all wrong. And so by just mining the network in clever ways, you can tell, okay, this guy is playing tricks, and you just remove the nodes. So it's very easy to use a lot of mathematics from complex network theory to clean up the data and to somehow remove noise that is deliberately introduced in the system. The other thing which I would like to mention is that even though we are all scared by the big brother, it's actually even more scary how people themselves start using these technologies very, very happily. We had this screen, and what we saw after a couple of days of people playing around, when they had become confident and aware of this possibility, is that, for example, if an important guy, if a very well-known scientist entered together with somebody, you would see a bunch of people running to the screen and looking up the connection to see who the other guy was. So it's really scary how easily people adopt these things, how much they start using them. And so that's another issue which we really need to address, I mean, in how we expose this information. And again, there is an issue of responsibility in that information is there, and it's there for use for everybody, and it's very important that, in a sense, there are provocations in order to let people become aware of the issues before they get used to the technology and to what they can do with the technology, while it still feels new.
Just to give you a short reality check, so obviously you think, oh, we have here the 25C3, we have here a lot of bright young people which are very aware of privacy rights. They will protect their privacy very well. They are aware what can happen to their valuable data. But from my experience, Ciro can correct me, this time we took it to a different new level. Unlike Aesthetics is not here. He did amazing work with some other people together on the Hope Conference in New York, and he was willing to come here and to work very hard day and night without sleep to make this happen on 25C3. We introduced a lot of additional data mining possibilities. For example, you were able at an early point to sign up for talks you want to attend, which obviously is interesting. I can correlate it with what you want to attend, what you think that people want to see you attending, and what you're personally interested. For example, if you have a talk about privacy and you leave in half the time, then obviously it tells things about you. There were a lot of possibilities where people left data. You could, for example, ping friends that were suggested by you to the system, from the system, based on the talks they signed up, based on the rooms they were in, based on the interests they registered on our website. You could enter handle, you could enter your age, you could enter your email address, your interest, everything. And you would expect that people come here bashing to us and say, oh, why do you collect this data? No single person asked me what will happen with this data. We can tomorrow put it into a newspaper and say, here is the data, email addresses, private interests, people they met, websites they have. No one really cared at the 25C3, so think about it. Yeah, and they trust Google, they trust Microsoft. It's good that you trust. It's good in these times that people still have trust. Thank you a lot. Okay, there is one question. Okay, last question.
Not a question as such. Just one more thought that came to my mind, because when we were interviewing a few candidates for our own company, there was this talk that there was a company that actually profiles a candidate based on what they do is basically Google you, then they do your they check your Facebook, your Orkut, and your LinkedIn, and then basically they give you a profile of your character. So that was real scary stuff. We actually banned that kind of companies approaching us in our company, but there are companies like that, and that is again against the privacy. So this might be something related to that too. Yeah. Just a thought on that. Nothing much of. Thank you.
Thank you for the info. Okay, so if one has further questions, meet us at our booth, and we will happily answer questions and share your privacy concerns.